mathematicians. Today we are going to continue looking at factoring trinomials. However, when we look at these ones, we're going to have a number out front or a coefficient. Right? The ones we had done before did not have a value here besides a hidden 1. I can't factor this with the 5 here. So what we need to do is we need to send it to the back. Send it to the last term. When I send it to the back, I'm going to multiply. So I'm going to multiply this back term and get 5 times 6, or 30. So we'll have x squared plus 13x plus 30. This now looks like one that we had done before. So if I make my chart, I'm going to look at multiples to 30, multiply to 30, that add to 13. Multiples of 30, start listing some for me. 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10. What next? 5 and 6. I want to find the pair that adds to 30, or at 13. So 1 and 30 make 31. 2 and 15, 17. 3 and 10, 13. Do I have a pair that works? Yes. 3 and 10. Now before, what did we do with 3 and 10? Put it in our parentheses. Our variable was x and x plus 3 plus 10. We're very close to being done. The only thing left is we have to come back and address this times 5. At the very beginning, we times by 5. How do we undo a times? Divide by 5. So I'm going to divide both of those by 5. Which one can I actually divide? 10 divided by 5 is 2. X plus 2. Can I simplify or divide 3 over 5 without getting a decimal? No. So what I need to do here is I'm going to move the 5 out front of the x. So 5x plus 3. So undo that times 5, divide both pieces by 5, slide this one back up front because it cannot be divided or simplified. This is your factored form. Let's take a look at this one. What should we do first here? There's a 6 out front. Can I factor it with a 6? No, so how do I get rid of it? Times it to the end. 6 times negative 8, negative 48. And bring down your other pieces. This now becomes x squared plus 22x minus 48. This is one of our old factoring ones. There's nothing in front, so I'm good to make my table. I need things that multiply to negative 48. If I want them to multiply to negative 48, one of them must be negative. So they need to multiply to negative 48 and add to the middle term 22. So I have 1 and negative 48. Remember, 1 has to be negative. If they multiply, it'd be negative. Switch those around. Negative 1, positive 48. 2 and negative 24. Switch the sign. Negative 2 and positive 24. Anything look like it's adding to 22 yet? That's negative 47. Nope. Positive 47. Nope. Negative 22. I'm close, but is this a negative 22? No, I can't use it. The signs are different. What about here? positive 22. So what's my match? 2 and 24. Put those in parentheses, x minus 2 and x plus 24. Now what do we have to do? Undo the times 6. How do you undo a times 6? Divide both pieces by 6. I can't divide this, but can I simplify 2 and 6? Divide by 2 is 1. Divide by 2 is 3. So I have 1/3. What do I do with the 3 in bottom? Bring it out front. 3x minus 1. So simplify the 2/6 to 1/3. And since 3 is still in the bottom, slide it out front. What about over here? I can actually divide 24 and 6, so we will get x plus 4. This is in factored form. Nice job. Let's take a look at this one. Before I start timesing, what do you notice about these three? They all can be divided by 5. So I'm going to do greatest common factor first. Pull out a 5. If I pull out a 5, divide by 5, we get 2y squared. What about here? Divide by 5, minus 7y. Divide by 5, plus 6. Now, using the inside piece, factor those like we did the two before. Let's see how you did. First thing you should have done, bring that 2 back. Y squared minus 7y plus 12. When I make my list, I'm looking for things that multiply to 12 and add to negative 7. I have 1 and 12. Oh, that's not going to make negative. What else can I get to get negatives when they add? A negative times a negative is a positive. Negative times a negative is a positive. Negative times a negative, positive. These ones added to 13 doesn't work. These add to negative 13 doesn't work. Here, negative 8. Close, not yet though. What about here? Negative 7. These are the two that work. Those are the two we want. So if I put them in parentheses, x minus 3, x minus 4. We're not done yet though, because earlier I multiplied by 2. Many people forget to go back and undo that. So how do I get rid of a multiply 2? Divide both of them by 2. 3 halves. Could you simplify this? No, so what did you do? Moved the 2 out front. 2x minus 3. What about here? Can I simplify? 4 divided by 2. X minus 2. The 5 in front. Pull out a 5 first. Factor the inside by multiplying. Come back, undo the divide 2, and make sure you put that 5 out front. Nice job. Take a look at number 4. What would you do to solve this? 4 times 7, so r squared minus r plus 28. I need things that multiply to 28 and add to negative 1. This is a negative 1 in there. Start listing things for 28. 1 and 28. Negative 1, negative 28. If I want this to be positive, but add to negative, I need 2 negatives. So negative 2 and negative 14. 3 does not go in, but 4 does. So negative 4 times negative 7. I knew that if I wanted them to add to be a negative, I'd have to do a negative times a negative. So both have to be negative. This is 29. Does that work? Oh. What about here? Negative 29 does not work. These ones? Negative 16 does not work. And here? Negative 11 does not work. None of these work. Are there any matches for 28 that will add to negative 1? No. If you look at your list and you've lifted all of them out and you cannot find one, that means this is prime. It cannot be factored. Okay. There are some times, some of those times when we're looking at where as much as we try, we cannot find any that work out. So if there are none that can list out to make this work, we say cannot be factored. Send that value out front. Make sure to come back and divide by it. Nice job today, mathematicians.